All right, all right, all right. Welcome to another episode on Your Voice, Your Impact. This is the energetic EJ. And of course, you can see already I have here with me Grace. So amazing. How are you, Gracie?
I'm indeed amazing. I'm good. How are you?
I am awesome as always, as always, as always. Okay, so we're just going to kick it off like we normally do. What was the weekend like?
I know I'm happy. I'm happy because you know, I now it's beginning to look like I have to make my not I get to make my weekend really eventful so that when we come here, I have something to say. So this weekend, it was more so. Weekends are usually set aside for self care. Even though during the week I look for a way to put self care, in one way or the other. But this weekend was a special one, and now me and my kids, my geniuses, what I call them, the book club, where I have some children. We get to read a particular book virtually, and we meet at the end of the month, or we pick a date where we meet physically and then talk about the book. But what we did this last weekend is what I'm super excited. We went to a shopping mall where these kids asked questions. They were asking several people questions, because we're reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. So my excitement is in the fact that, babe, hey, hey, we have work to do. We have work to do. You know,
Tell me.
there was this particular man in his gigantic car, very big, and I also learned something from that you might be very sound intellectually and all of that, but there is a particular principle that you would use in making money. So some people are not all that intelligent, but they are very
Okay.
wealthy, and you'll be wondering that how
How did you
come this
do it?
person is very intelligent. I'm sure we'll talk about several types of intelligences later in our podcast, right? But today, I just want to say that I was really happy. The children proved that we've not been wasting time. We've not been wasting
Hmm.
our time. I was so proud, and their parents even couldn't stop hiding the fact that they were so grateful that we did what we did. So the highlight for me this past weekend, was the fact that we went out, we interviewed people, and for me, that's some form of service, serving these young children, helping them be, me being part of their journey is what I call service to humanity, and that's topmost on my list of self care. So that's why, when you asked, I was waiting. I said, let a energetic ask me this question. So that's why I'm making, I'm talking more than I would usually talk about my weekend. So this is very, this is very intentional because I was really waiting, for you to ask me this question. My weekend was super amazing, and I'm very happy to be sharing this my weekend today.
That is interesting. That is interesting to know.
So
Thank you
how
for
was
sharing that
your
with
weekend?
us. Well, mine was non-eventful at all. My weekend was very quiet. Sorry to disappoint
Quiet
you.
is good. Quiet is good. Quiet is good.
Yeah,
Tell
I
me
pretty
about it
much
though.
I pretty much just uh went out on a morning on Saturday morning to do one or two um, errands and then go back home. I was pretty tired by the time I got back home. I was supposed to go out again, but I just couldn't. So I stayed in. And yesterday being Sunday as well, I stayed in. I joined the online service and that was it. And I just like pretty much stayed in and just chilled. And again, for me, this season sometimes it looks like, are you being lazy or are you being restful? There's this question for that. But again, I tell
Mhm.
myself, no, I'm not being lazy. I just want this time for me, for myself, just to relax, right? I can't remember when last I switched on, to watch like a movie. But this weekend I did watch a movie, and I for me that was my own self care. Like, okay, okay, just sit down, watch this movie from A to Z. Of course, for me, I've been watching, and I don't consider it a movie because for me, it's more like a study. The Chosen is the story of Jesus, and I just love how they portray the story. They made it real. They showed all the emotions. They portrayed all the emotions that came with the disciples, the confusions, the question, the lack of faith, and that. So it's really real. And for me, it brings the word alive for me. And so that's what for me is more like a study that I've been on for a while now. But again, the way I took care of myself this weekend was to just rest and watch a movie. So that was it. Nothing too special.
Very special. And I think we undermine rest, and we don't know how. So I mean, good. You work hard, babe. You work hard from Mondays through to Sundays. Sometimes you really work hard. Putting out content and doing anything is work.
What the
So yes,
dance.
babe, you deserve it. You deserve it. That rest, you deserve it very well.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so guys, welcome. If you're joining us, I see one or two people here. Please drop something in the comment. Let us know how your weekend went, so that it's not just us sharing about our weekend, week in, week out. If you're here, you can also share in the comment section to say, "Oh, my weekend went this way," or "How has your day been so far?" Today being Monday, how has it been so far? For me, Mondays are pretty much very busy and heavy for me. Most of my coaching calls are on Mondays. I have this. I have coaching calls. I have my community engagement later on in the evening. So Mondays are always like hefty for me. But again, I love it because it just kind of prepares me for the rest of the week to say, I got this, I can do this, I can do all things, right? So you can also tell us how your Monday is going. Now, today we're talking about how to leverage your personality type to make a significant impact. Your personality type to make a significant impact. Well, let's start with what is your personality type? Grace, so amazing.
This one now, wow. I don't have,
What do you mean you don't have? What's that?
honestly, I don't know because okay, so let me say this. All right, so if we're going to put it in terms of the there are several types of personality types. We have the one that may have briefed the what's that name 16 personality
It's just a
type.
personality test. You have the
Eh,
disc
we have the
assessment,
four,
archetypes.
the sanguine, and then to narrow it to two, it's like 16, 4, 2, the introvert, the extrovert. So for me, when it comes to personality, I have really, I have come, thank God for the knowledge that I have been able to gather. I have been able to understand that I am, if there's any word to call it, I have the flexible personality type because it's easy to say that I am an introvert, right? Or I am an extrovert. And today you see me being an extrovert in a party, say for instance, and 1 hour later I'm asking someone take me to my bed. I want to go, please. And I'm indoors all day, and the next thing I'm like, Grace, you need to go out, you need to go out, you need to, so I won't say I'm confused with what my personality type is. And I understand why now, because I was brought up by my dad introverted, my mom extroverted, and what I have come to realize is I have a bit of both.
Hmm.
Maybe my close friends will say, she's a bit extroverted, until we'll now go to one place and they'll be like, now Grace now quiet like this. Now Grace now this person know they talk. So for you to box me, I would say that I don't know.
You're unboxable.
I am unboxable. You can
You
you
are
can you
fluid. Your
you can't
personality
put
is
me.
fluid.
Thank you very much. Yeah, but psychologists will tell you that you have a dominant personality type. So I might say that because I'm confused. Really, I'm confused. If they should say that, okay, I'm outgoing. I see myself as outgoing, and I also see myself as a thinker, babes. You don't want to see me. My family members will tell you that, Grace, just leave her alone. Leave her when she's in that her room reading or doing something. Just leave her alone. I remember in Lagos, my landlady would call me, Butter, Daddy, meaning come out, let's see you. So you can understand with me when I say that it is really hard to box me into a personality type. But if I'm like, what's your personality type? What's your personality type? I'll say, honestly, I may say maybe I'm an extrovert, you know, but I would say they said we have the ambivert, yeah. So you're this and that, So I would rather say I tilt more into being an extrovert. But then again, babes, if you ask me, this question is hard. I don't know, because I've been able to manage both. I can fit in anywhere, anytime. So I think I've built myself to a point where I fit in. When you need my particular skill, as an introvert, I can do that. As a thinker, as someone that is very um I don't know, but yeah, I can be both. But I think I'm more of an extrovert, if you ask me. Yeah, right. But
I kind of.
I'm a bit of both. You tell me, what's your personality type?
Um, so for me personally, I see before COVID. Give me a minute.
All right. Did they drop any message? Because I'm still not seeing anything.
Yes, I can. I'll put it on this. I'll put it on the screen. So this is the first question we asked when we said, how is their weekend doing? Mrs. Anolu Akpo, thank you for joining us. And and then I have Odiwoma. Odiwoma, hey, I didn't know Odiwoma is in the group. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know you were on the WhatsApp group. Okay, I didn't know. I probably missed it. Okay, no, you are. You are, right? I'm sorry, girl. It's been a while. I only remember your name on X. Wow, good to have you here. Says, I think I experience same as Grace Amazing. Sometimes I'm extroverted, but then I'm an introvert. It depends on the environment and mood for me. Absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
with you on that. And
Absolutely.
I also think that this research has to keep going on, because as human beings, and first as a physicist, what comes to mind is there are dualities. The two you have
Two
two
of everything.
like two of
Alternate
everything, right?
universe.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have the qualities of both, like
Of both.
feminine energy, masculine energy. But yes, you have the dominant part, but you also have the skill to be able to
To
work with
adapt.
both.
Depending on the situation on ground.
We are
Yes,
adaptable human beings. What makes us
absolutely.
human beings? We are very adaptable, except some people that are
Fixed
myopic,
mindset.
and I'm sure, yes, fixed-minded. That they say, I am this, I am this, until you put them in a situation. So let me tell you, I remember somebody. Sorry, before we get into the
Problem.
topic, and
No
I think this
problem.
is opening.
This is
This
part of
is
what we're talking about.
opening
Absolutely.
exactly.
Go
So
ahead.
this
Yeah.
is opening the
The
conversation.
conversation.
There was someone that got a job. He said he's an introvert, that he cannot do marketing, that he would like to do, that he's very good with anything that's behind the scene and all of that. Until when he realized the amount they were paying the salespeople and the marketers, not the marketers, the sales team and everything. And then one day he felt cheated that, are you serious? Salespeople, that's how much you collect. He said, yes, so with the incentive, we did this, we did that. Lobaton, my brother, the next this thing, he now said he wants to build himself to see if he can do that. Guy, he was the best in that team at the end of the year when they were doing that thing. He became the best. He got the
Money matter.
motivation he needed. You understand? So money can bring out the extra.
The real personality. Anyway,
You know,
let me strip this in as from the perspective of faith, right? As a person of faith, I think that's why Apostle Paul said, "See, I am all things to all men." Mm-hmm.
but
I
then
can do all
I
things through
agree.
Christ who strengthens me. So
I agree.
if I need to put on a persona just to be able to um get into a conversation with a type of person, I can do that just because I have a goal,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So, for example, you see these bikers, right? People who
Yes.
bike, they
Yes.
are the Raz ones. They are the ones who like music like rock, very metallic. They are the ones who have piercings, tattoos, and
Mm.
everything. There is a limit to how you can get close to them to even
Mm.
strike up a conversation if you look a bit too different, because they're like,
Yeah.
okay, what's this person looking for? So if you want to be jiving cool with them, it might not really blend. Like, you can't understand me, you're not in my shoes, you don't know who I you don't know what I think like, and all of that. And I feel like that is why, even in in the believers world, God saves people from those climb so that those people are able to reach out to their types,
Absolutely.
right? So again, it's like you said, that duality is there, and per time we can choose which one we want to dominate per time. Again, I think it comes down, or it boils down to understanding you, and then knowing, okay, in this situation, I think my extrovertedness will come in handy, or my introvertedness will be very, very handy, right? Like I said, before COVID, I would think that I'm the life of the party. I don't like dulling, like no dulling moment. Like, why should I be sitting inside the house all day, every day? For what? That what's going on? Everybody needs to know I'm out there and everything. But since after COVID, I didn't know that I had this amount of introvertedness in me. Like, even the thought of going out alone sometimes is tiring. Like, by the time I think of, oh, so I have to get up now and take a shower and then dress up and then make up and then enter bus or enter cab and then go to this place and then spend like 20, 40, 1 hour on the road going. And then I'll now spend like 3 hours there. And then I'll spend another. See, this is how I calculate it. Like, I calculate, I'm like, is it really worth it? Like, at the end of the day, what am I going to get from this event I'm going to now? Is it really worth it? It's not worth it. See, if I use that same hours that I used to dress up, even if I dress up, and the remaining hours I can sleep, or I can learn, I can watch a YouTube video, or I can create content. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. Like, I know how many times I've turned down invitations, like, hey girl, because again, when I'm out, I'm out. When I'm out, everybody knows I'm there. Like, I'll be life of the party for sure. But to get me out now, that's where the problem is. Like, because I love my own company. I love my bed. I love my chair. I love my room. Right? So again, these are a but like you said, when it comes to understanding life and making impacts, like we're talking about today, talking about the topic of today, to leverage that dominancy or that dual ability in us to be able to say, okay, I want to make impact, and not just any kind of impact, but significant impact in this life, in this world. You need to come to terms with, okay, what is the dominant personality type I have? And in that light, yes, there are all these different categories that you can bring together. And I'm one of the ones who believe right now that there is no like one straight cut, like, oh, so you are sanguine, so you are sanguine. Yes, even the temperament thing, Tim Laya explained it. Like, yes, you can be dominantly sanguine, you can be dominantly phleg, melancholy, or choleric, but there's always a mix in there. And it is not set in stone. It is not set in stone. So you can develop as a sanguine, you can begin to, based on the weaknesses of sanguine, you can develop some of the traits of a choleric or of a phlegmatic or of a melancholic person, right? So that it can help you position properly to be able to make this kind of significant impact you want to make. So otherwise, if you say, oh, I am male, I'm very quiet, I'm very introverted, I don't like people seeing me, I don't like the spotlight, I don't like it, I don't like, then how are you going to impact lives significantly? right? Again, I know that there are always exceptions to every rule. There are people who you do not know of, who you do not hear of, but they are the movers and shakers of some industries. Like they don't come out, they don't speak out, you don't know what's going on, but they are behind the scenes shaking and moving things. I saw a movie um I saw a movie like I think last week on Netflix, one of those long trip I was going on. I'm like, okay, I don't want to read. I think I was reading a book and I'd finished reading the book. That was the book I'll read every time I go out last week and everything. But I'd finished reading it. I didn't have internet on my phone, but I had Netflix mobile. And I just went through it. I said, okay, which movie have I downloaded? And I saw The Pain Hustlers. I'm like, okay, let me even watch what this is about. Now, the movie was about, a pharmaceutical company that was focusing on pain, on people's pain. So basically, they had this new drug that that they produced to help cancer patients, right, to manage the pain that they're going through. And so they're like, okay, this drug would help them regular. Normally, the products in the market would take like maybe an hour to kick in to reduce the pain that they're going through. But this particular one that they have will take 5 minutes to kind of relieve their pain and help them at least enjoy whatever. So, but nobody was willing to listen to them, right? And so there's this other lady somewhere who was just like a hustler or anything, basically. Wait, how did I get to that film now? There's something I wanted to try out, and talking about the movie has taken me off my script. But let me get back on track. Is that I was talking about, how it is that where was I? Oh Lord Jesus, why did I?
You
What
were
just
like,
happened in my
no
head?
particular thing, Timla Haye, there was no particular thing is cast on stone, and that you might just say that you're
Yes,
melancholy,
yes. Okay.
none of that.
Thank you. God bless you. I was talking about the thing I wanted to point out is the fact that there are people who are movers and shakers, but you will not see them outside. You will not know them, right? Although in this particular man's case, people knew him, right? So he is the owner of the pharmaceutical company, right? But
Mm.
the way he was running the company, all his staff, his managerial staff, were the one in the forefront in such a way that you could not trace anything back to him. So for every time there was a problem, you'd be like, oh, I'm just an investor. I'm actually a dormant investor. Like, I don't know. I just invest in this company. Whatever they do, I don't know how they do the day-to-day running. Meanwhile, that's a whole huge lie. And how did this man pull it off? He does not have a phone number. He does not have, like, you don't send him emails. That none of his staff member had his email. But the CEO is the person you will send email to. Then the CEO will print out the email. Then this guy will not carry pen and paper to do all the corrections on the work, and then the CEO will go ahead and do the rest thing. So no traces. It's like I'm just an investor. I'm just a major investor, so I don't know what goes on. I'm just investing in a good business. So every time there was a problem, they could not nip him in the bud until they introduced this other girl into the mix and everything. The company was almost crashing. The girl came somehow she boosted it, and everything started going. And then he got paranoid, and somehow, long story, but go and watch it. Pain Hustler. That's what I'm saying. Like there is also the place of you can make significant impact without being out there in the
Yeah.
forefront. Just saying that there's the exception to the rule, but that's not what happens all the time. Most times you have to most likely be active in the service or in the innovation or in whatever it is that you're doing if you really want to make significant impact, which means that you have to be involved in it, which means you have to probably be out there somewhere or at least be known for something. And if you then stick to the fact that, oh, I'm an introvert, I can't do this, I can't do that, then you're unable to then go ahead to deliver this huge or significant solution that you might have for your world. And that's why we're having this conversation to say, okay, fine, how can you then leverage what you have? For me, for example, I know that when it comes to the temperament, I am more sanguine than any other thing. I don't even know the second half. I don't know if it is if I'm choleric or phlegmatic. I'm not sure. I'm not melancholy or anything. It's either those other two. I'm not male anything. So it's either because again, for some reason, I always find myself in position of leadership, right? I don't have to even struggle for it. Somehow I just find it. So I think cholerics are those people who are always like to be in charge and everything. So, but the sanguine part of me struggles with planning. We are very spontaneous human beings. Like, I don't like it though. I cannot be doing one thing for too long, you know. I cannot carry one hairstyle for too long. I cannot be wearing one cloth for too long. I cannot be having maintaining one look for too long. What's that? You know, that's boring. Life has to be exciting and
Yeah.
variety is the spice of life and all of those. But I know that the planning part, which I struggle with as a sanguine, is very, very needed for me to make any significant impact in life.
Yeah.
So what do I do? I Since I'm aware of this, then I use that information or that knowledge to fortify myself. To know that when it comes to planning, I have to put in more effort. If I cannot do it myself, then I have to surround myself with people who can make it happen, who will hold me accountable, or who will force me to ensure that we have a plan, right? And that
Yeah.
is how you are able to leverage your type of personality to make that significant impact that you want to make. Yes. Oh, I know. I'm not alone. Yes, yes, yes. So are you Anu, let me know. Are you a sanguine, flag, male, or choleric? Which one are you? Let me know which one are you in the comment section. Whoever else is there, if Oduoma is still there, which one are you when it comes to your temperament? So there is temperament, there's personality types. And like we mentioned earlier on, there are different kind of tests that you can take to help you buttress your personality type. I've taken the disc assessment. I've taken the I don't think I did the Briggs one, but I did the 16 personality one. There's also another one that is archetype. I did that one time. Then there are some that they do. There are just some random ones online too, but those ones I'm not even sure if they are correct or not because they could say that based on the kind of food you like, or based on the colors you like, or based on one thing, they'll tell you, you know, what kind of personality you are on. But yeah, oh, Anu says I'm too spontaneous. I struggle with planning. So you're probably, oh, you're a sanguine. Absolutely. I know this is something that we struggle with. But now knowing that or being aware of that can now help us put ourselves in places where we are forced to plan. Because again, planning is great. There's that saying, if you fail to plan, then you're automatically planning to fail. And so, whether it is whatever it is you want to do, you need to always have a plan that you can work with so that every time you get stuck, you can go back to the drawing board to say, oh, this, and this was what we had in plan. Where am I missing in the mix? And I think that's why sometimes when we don't put this thing in place, it feels like we're always going around in circles. Like you've like, I've been here before. For some of us now, like we have this thing that you're always in deja vu moment. Like, this thing has happened before. I've been here before. I've seen this person before. I've said this thing before. I've done this thing. It's because you have not settled down to say, okay, you know what? Yes, this is something that I struggle with. What can I do about it? How can I, adjust in such a way that planning is now even if it means forced into my routine so that I'm able to sit and plan for the future, plan for the things I want to do so that I can always find myself in the mix even when I begin to find, or begin to feel like I'm lost at any point in time. Great, so amazing what you have to say to this.
All right, thank you. So what I want to even quickly talk about is people understanding that there is no personality that is better than the other one. you
Mm,
know, because very frankly, even I catch myself to detach myself from being an introvert. I say, those ones that look like they are depressed and sad, as if something is wrong with them, and it was because of how it was sold to us. Making it look like one is better. I mean, while you see some introverted people say, please, I'm not an extrovert. So all those people that are all over the place, very loud, very this, very that, and make it look horrible. So you find
mm,
out that people are not accepting their personality type, or are not,
because
are not trying to connect with a particular personality because of what they have heard. So this
Mm,
is me telling you that, you know how the creator of the universe is perfect,
mm.
absolutely perfect, is to let you know that no matter the personality you are, you're perfect. And I'm not saying this to bubble anyone. Let me give you practical. You know me now, I am a scientist and I love to prove what I say, and I also like to use practical examples.
Examples, yeah.
And nothing is coming to my head right now, but I can say that, so if we have um, we have a universe of introverted people doing things in the cocoon of their own space without pushing it out there for others. How? Just close your eyes for a minute and see how boring the world would look. Doesn't mean that they're not doing something. As a matter of fact, introverts are thinkers, people
Yeah.
that are, we will call behind the scene. They are constantly, churning. In fact,
They're actually
all
the
the things that
innovative
we see,
ones.
very,
Mm.
very innovative and very, very creative in a way that it would amaze
Deep.
you.
Yes.
Very deep thinkers, very, but just as they have the positive side to them, there's also that part that we would not call very positive, but it's also relevant for the purpose of
Oh.
balance.
Mm.
Now, when you come to the extrovert, you just close your eyes and see everybody talking, chatty, chatty, everybody all over the place, everybody. How? Just close your eyes
Hyper.
for a minute and imagine how crazy the world would be. That is why I said that the creator of the universe is perfect, absolutely perfect. And it goes to show that we should leverage on all these qualities for us to have an interesting universe, interesting life. So I just said that just to help. If so, this is to you that feels that if somebody is an introvert, the person is dash 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 in the negative, and this is also to you if you think somebody is an extrovert and you have labeled them this, that, that. Look, whichever one you are, fantastic. And from there, I would say training and nurturing is the deal for me. You find out that certain people would be in a particular field, even though they thought they were extroverts, they started doing a type of work or a particular job that kept them always being in a particular place. They may not have liked it, but because they probably loved the job they were doing at the time, they somehow acclimatized and found themselves in that space. All right, so you can nurture or you can train yourself into becoming a particular, but then again, as beautiful as the universe is and as beautiful as God can be, you will just find that other part looking for how to express itself,
Express. Mm.
right? So for you is I say this all the time: know thyself, know the part of you that dominates, the part of
Mm.
you that craves for expression, the part of you that, how do you express yourself? So for me, I like to write, but I didn't think I knew I was a good writer, but I thought you should be able to use some big, 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 big English and all of that. No, that's not
Mm.
writing. How creative are you? How can you make that person? How can you say a story in such a way that the person will be imagining the thing and the thing will just be giving the person joy? Yay! Now you have the person that will do the writing at the background that might be an introvert. So I need that part of my introverted side to be able to sit down and churn out the creative side of me. I can't do that when I'm outside or in a noisy place or in a place where, I also like music, right? But when I am in that my zone where I want to be creative and I want to think that music will be noise to me. And this is somebody that spends money listening to music, buying all sorts that's got to do with music, right? So to wrap up, from my end here is to say that number one, know your personality type. Know, and again, I'll let you know maybe later that if you do the 16 I'll recommend the 16
Political.
personality types by Mayor Briggs. I would recommend that you go do it. And then when you see yourself improving as you're intentional in
Do
terms
it
of personal
again.
growth and development, you notice that it changes. You
Yeah,
will
it
not be
does.
one for a very
Yeah,
long time. So I
yeah.
noticed that what I was in January is not what I am now, which means that there's progress.
You've
And, you
evolved.
know, I've
Absolutely.
evolved, and I was very intentional about some key areas of my life that I wanted to improve, and it helped me, do more, in that area. And I also made sure some people were accountable to that part of me, so even as a coach, I have a coach that would help me in those key areas that I'm looking to improve. All right. So
Mm,
I was just going to wrap up by saying that once you know your personality type and you know the type that you know the part of you that loves to express itself, how it loves to express itself, you can leverage on that. And then you know the part that you're lacking, strength, the part that we normally call weakness. Really, no, I won't call it weak. Well, for the purpose of labeling stuff, if you see that part as your weakness, then you know that in this area I need help, in this
mm,
particular area I need help. So at the end of the day, you now see how interesting it is to have a bit of both personalities for your own personal growth so that you can start making impact like we're already doing. Thank you.
absolutely. Absolutely fantastic. I love how you brought that all together. And you know what I'm just going to add to what Grace Basin has said concerning it is still going back to the basis, which is first of all understanding where you are at in your personality. Do all the tests there is. You know, a lot of people do those tests and they receive it as a prophecy. Like this is who I am and this is how it's supposed to be. And then they crutch on it. So if they do things like, it's because I'm choleric, it's because I'm sanguine, it's because no, that's not the point. That is not the point of doing those tests. The point of doing those tests is to understand where you are at right now and then look at the results and see if this thing is not, if this, because again you know what's good and what's bad, okay, especially you know, see, okay, maybe there's, let me know, it's good and bad. You know what serves you and what doesn't per time. For example, like I said again, if I do the test and I go back and I say, oh, I'm 70% sanguine and 30% choleric. But if I've noticed on my journey that the fact that I'm 70% sanguine, which means it affects my planning capabilities, I know I need to be more, I need to lean more into my choleric part, for example, to be more um, assertive when it comes to planning and be able to follow through with the plan, because there are people that they can plan from now to their kingdom come. But oh yeah, now come and take action now. Wahala. Oh yeah, come and action. But you said you will. There are people that have been doing things for the longest time. 15 years ago, I wanted to. 10 years ago, I wanted to. 25 years to come, I will. You are always willing and wanting. But doing is where the problem is. If you know that, then you're able to say, okay, I think I have issues with execution. And that's why, even when you get to that point of knowing, you're able to then put in place. That's when you know, okay, I think I need to work with this type of coach. Or you know what to say to a coach when you get to a coach. You say, okay, I need a coach, I need to work with a coach. And when the coach is asking, what exactly do you need? You'll be able to pinpoint it and see, I'm sanguine, I'm very, very executional. I love to execute. But you see, the planning part, count me out. I don't like to plan, but I can execute. If you give me a plan right now and say, let's move, I'm ready to move. Let's execute. Let's do. Right? But let's sit down and plan. Oh, boring. Right. So if I'm going to work with a coach, I'm going to work with a coach to help me build that capacity of planning. First of all, to see the importance of planning, to be able to do, and of course, the way I'm going to plan as a sanguine might be different from the way any other person will plan. But the point is that we're going to find a way to ensure that we always have a plan. So that means that for me, for example, again, one of the things I've learned when it comes to that planning with sanguine, and some of the things that has helped me to be able to execute on ideas that I have, is that I know that, okay, fine, I've agreed that, oh, as a sanguine, I'm not a long-term planner. But that is not to say we cannot plan altogether. Do you see? So what it tells me is I can plan bit by bit. I can start with a 30 days plan. I can start with a 90 days plan. I don't have to do, oh, what, where will you see yourself in the next 5 years? Please, you're stressing me out. Please, 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 please. I'm not even seeing myself in the next 3 months. You're asking me 5 years. Please, 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 please. I can hire somebody to help me. Maybe if I talk to the president, there are people who are good like that. Like when you're speaking to them, they are connecting dots in their head. They are seeing where the dots connect and they can help you use that information to create a plan. Fantastic. I can get somebody to do that. But for me to be able to move from where I am now, let me just even do 30 days. Let me do 90 days. And that's why sometimes you see me going on challenges. That's because it's part of me trying to build that planning part of me. Because for me to say I want to go on this 30 days challenge, I have to do this one thing or this set of things consistently for the next 30 days. I have to plan for it. If I want to write, I have to plan for it. If I want to create content, I have to plan for it. What am I going to talk about? What are the topics I'm going to talk about? Where am I going to be shooting my videos? What do I need? Those things are planning. But it is me putting myself in that situation to be able to do the planning. Okay. So again, once you find out where you are at, then know where you want to be or be articulate with what is missing, and then know how to work around what you have to be able to, get better, evolve into the better version of yourself. Because again, when we talk about impact, yes, significant impact does not have to be on other people. So when you're thinking impact, don't always think of, oh, what do I want to do? You can first start with impacting your own self, your own life. Let people look at you in January and come back in September and be able to say, wow, girl, you have changed. And that is a lot of work on its own. So you don't have to wait to say, oh, until when you hear impact, you're always thinking of outside. Sometimes it's you. And that's why I love what DDK will always say, that we're not human doings, we are human beings. And so, as much as radical execution, which is execution of your ideas, doing stuff, is important, what's the other one? The evolving, rapid evolving is also a thing. When you evolve into a brighter, wiser, better, more sturdy, more connected, more in tuned, attuned person, you have made significant impact. Because let me tell you, when you do that for yourself, somebody can literally look at you and be inspired. Somebody can literally look at you and make a decision that will change or turn their whole lives around. Like, if Ejiro can change, no, there's hope for me. I can change too. If Ejiro can do this, no, 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 I can't too. What do I need to do? Because I can see her, I can see it's possible. Then it means that if I put in the work, I might be able to get the same results. All right. So when we talk about impact, don't always think of the external. Sometimes that impact, that significant impact you're looking to explore or to deliver, might just start from you yourself or from your household. And that's something to pay attention to. And then your personality type, understanding it, embracing it, accepting it so that you can work on the part that you're not too happy with, is also going to help you make that significant impact you want to make in this life. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation today. We're going to give about a few minutes. If you have any questions in the comments, please drop them now, or contribution, please drop them in the comment section before we finally say goodbye today. Thank you, everyone who has been here. Anolu Akwajola Osho, I thank you so much for being here. Odiwo Manora, thank you for being here. Yes, absolutely. Says exactly. Most introverts are thinkers. Some just waste their time being indoors. Yes, and those ones are the ones that we need to drag out. I say, you're introverted, but please, when you're inside like that, ensure that you're thinking and you're birthing something and not just wasting your time in the dark. So, do we have any questions, contributions before we call it a day? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you, Maz. Thank you for being here. Any question, any contribution? If there is none, we will be back here again next week, Monday, 1 p.m. West African time, 4 p.m. GST. And next week, we're going to be talking around something else that affects your voice, your impact. As you can see already, both of us here, We've been on this journey now. I think it's probably going to the 19th or 20th week, which is almost 4 months of us showing up weekly, just to share with you that, see, when it comes to making an impact, these little things also count and they matter. Of course, these are the things we've shared here today might not be totally new to you, but we've brought it back to your consciousness. So if you're not thinking about it before, you're thinking about it now. And hopefully, as you think about it, you're going to take steps towards making it better. And in that way, we've impacted you in some way. And this is what we're here to do. And remind you that this is not something that is exclusive to any of us. We all can make an impact in the lives of people around us. Thank you, Odwoma. Amazing session. I enjoy every bit. Thank you, Mama EJ and Grace. So amazing. Grazie, grazie, grazie. Thank you so much for being here and for joining the conversation. Okay. This is where we draw the curtain today. It's been a pleasure serving you in this capacity today. Please, if you know anyone who needs to listen to this, you can always share the link to them and say, hey, go listen to this. I think you need it, okay? And then let them drop a comment. Also, you can come back and drop a comment in the comment section if there's anything that dropped for you during the conversation that you want others who are going to watch the replay to learn that, okay, actually, there were people during the live session and this are the things that they learned from the conversation. You can drop it in the comment section. And please, if you're yet to subscribe to this YouTube channel, please do that and turn on notification. I will be back here next week again. God bless you. Grace, any words?
Yeah, I was going to say very quickly that the story you tell yourself is very important because if you
Mm,
tell yourself a particular story for a very long time, the universe and everything will work together to ensure that that thing that you're telling yourself comes to pace.
comes
So
to
those are the
pass.
final words. And remember to do something very practical this week with regards to what we have talked about. Um, we didn't even introduce. Did we introduce ourselves?
No, we didn't. So
I
let's
just
close with that. Go ahead,
all
introduce
right.
yourself.
The reason I just said I just remember that we didn't introduce ourselves. When somebody was saying something, I just the mental health part of me always comes to play. Sometimes, so this is let me just end with this. Uh, sometimes we sometimes someone might be going through a mental health issue and it will play a role in their personality, meaning sometimes depression can come off as being indoors all the time, not wanting to go out, and this is not necessarily who that person is, but because the person is going through a particular challenge, they find themselves being indoors all the time. So this is for you listening to this. If you have people that you have noticed that are usually outgoing but all of a sudden have decided to stay indoors and refuse to go out to participate in things that they would normally do, it is time for you to pay attention to them. I remain your amazing Grace. Grace, so amazing. I am a life and personal development coach. I'm also the founder of an NGO called Friends to Lean on Global Foundation, and we educate people on mental and emotional wellness. It was nice, you know, chatting with you all, and thanks to everybody that joined. Have very wonderful week. Ciao.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Yes, this is the energetic EJ again. See, I'm just me right now. This is who you get. This is what you see. This is me. If you want to know more, follow me for more. Thank you so much, Grace. So amazing. We'll talk to you next week. Bye bye, guys. Bye.